The Black Company changed the face of the fantasy genre. There was a time before and a time after. You see, the Black Company is considered one of the progenitors of the Grimdark genre, and in this video I'm going to show you why you should read the series using one chapter in the first book. This chapter has everything that makes the Black Company an icon of Grimdark. The prose, the world building, the characters, they all come together early in this first book to suck you in. This video will contain very minor spoilers for that chapter starting here. I'm talking about character names and place names and a mission objective. There will be no major spoilers for the series, but if you don't want any spoilers at all, here's a quick, totally spoiler-free outline of why you should read The Black Company. So why is The Black Company considered the grandfather of Grimdark? The world is a terrible place to live. The characters are not good, and yet, that makes it one of the most enjoyable fantasy series out there. Alright, so what is The Black Company about? It's about a band of mercenaries who get caught up working for the big bad magic users on their continent. Once hired, they get tasked with certain missions to stamp down a rising rebellion in the country. In Chapter 3 of the first book, we see highlights of all the best parts of what makes this series one of the greats. The world building in this chapter opens up mysteries about the magic, the characters, and it also serves to reinforce the grittiness of Glen Cook's world. The characters continue their progression into the odd and yet somehow real. You see, the task before them in this chapter does not feature world-ending stakes. It's a job, and they tackle it like a job. For the characters, this is work. It's hard, annoying work that makes the characters pissed at each other in very realistic ways. And this job leads me to the number one reason you should read The Black Company: character competency. Many of the characters in this series are smart. They make smart and well thought out decisions. And even if a choice fails, as a reader, you're not left smacking your head calling them dumb. Dumb choices do exist, but they are rooted in character and very believable. It's one of the unsung positives of the series. If you've read something by Andy Weir, like The Martian or Project Hail Mary, you understand what I mean when I talk about character competency. The characters solve problems in unique and awesome ways, and this chapter has a great example of that, which I will go into. Alright, from here on out, we're going to have very minor spoilers for Chapter 3 of The Black Company. I'm going to tell you about character names and minor plot details for this chapter. This video will not spoil anything major within the main series, but it will provide context for those greater happenings. So if you don't want to know anything at all before you read, I would leave now, and please like and subscribe before you go. Thanks. World building.
There are no self-proclaimed villains, only regiments of self-proclaimed saints. Victorious historians rule where good or evil lies.
In this chapter, the Black Company is on the hunt for the wizard named Raker. Raker is a general for the growing rebellion on the continent. We're told he's a powerful wizard, but there's something you should know about the magic in this series. It's a soft magic. The rules are vague, and the narrator of the series possesses no magical ability, so a lot of the magic is described as he sees it. Someone mutters something, someone moves their fingers, for example, and magical things happen. Usually these magical things are, well, they're very, very bad. Magic in the series is dangerous, deadly dangerous. So when the Black Company are tasked with finding this wizard, it's serious business. The world is run by these sorcerers. Might makes right in the Black Company, and it's a gritty, dark, sword and sorcery world we're in. At the beginning of this chapter, the Black Company's patron, another wizard named Soulcatcher, devises a plan to catch Raker. The plan that Soulcatcher comes up with is so smart, it highlights one of the best parts of the series, the genius of the plots and plans. I won't spoil the ending of the chapter, but the political interplay that happens in the city as this plot starts to simmer and boil is entertaining. Character.
We are minions of the villain of the piece. We confess the illusion and deny the substance.
Characters in the Black Company have a Hemingway-like depth to them. Cook is clearly a proponent of the iceberg theory of character writing, which means what we see is only the tip of what's beneath the surface. Each character is laden with mystery, and I mean each character. One of the core tenets of the Black Company as a mercenary band is that one must leave their old life behind. Members of the company have nicknames: Croaker, Goblin, One-Eye, The Lady, Soulcatcher. These are obviously not real names, but they do speak to an aspect of the character. Goblin, for example, is ugly. In the Black Company, we are rarely told of traumatic pasts. That's not to say there are not the occasional dumps of lore, but usually the reader has to put the pieces together. A character doesn't get divorced, he removes his wedding ring. The reader isn't told of a minor character with latent magical abilities. Instead, we watch that character do certain things, and by the time the narrator tells the reader their theory, we've already put it together. The reader is left to come up with answers, and while many theories are confirmed to the narrator, and thus the reader, there are many mysteries that are left for us to figure out. This is a grim world, and the characters are left to navigate a masculine company of soldiers. Outward displays of vulnerable emotions are not the name of the game in the Black Company. Subtext is king here. Cook is able to create complex and rich emotional characters in such a short amount of words, and that leads me to my next point. The prose.
Ah, aha. Plain spoken, straightforward, simple. Just our style. Ha.
Glen Cook's prose is special. He writes fantasy like a pulp noir paperback. It's Spartan, it's masculine, it's muscular, it's badass. It will also have you grabbing the dictionary every once in a while because Cook, rather than use 4 words, will use something more obscure. Avid readers can tell the first few books of this series were written under the pressure of a typewriter because Glen Cook's prose has no fat. Also, as a side note, he has some of the best titles in all of fantasy. Just listen to some of these read out loud. A shadow of all night falling, an empire unacquainted with defeat, dreams of steel, and ill fate marshalling. The length.
We abjure labels. We fight for money and an indefinable pride. The politics, the ethics, the moralities are irrelevant.
Let's talk about a bonus positive of the series, the length. Look, we all worry about getting into long series because paradoxically the worry stems from, what if I love it? Because if so, my to-be-read pile is royally screwed. Well, guess what? These books are short. You see this book? You see it? This is an omnibus of the first 3, yes, 3 Black Company books. Here it is next to the shortest Wheel of Time book. Here it is next to the first Realm of the Elderlings book. Here it is next to the first half of Game of Thrones. The first 3 books of the series are less than 300 pages each. The omnibus is 704 pages total. Later in the series, when Glen Cook started writing on a computer, those books are longer. We're talking 300 plus pages, and yet these books are still shorter than your big fat fantasy series. So, even if you only pick up and read the first omnibus containing the first 3 books and not like it, you'll only be out on the time it takes to read one fat fantasy book, and you'll have gotten a complete story as well. Conclusion.
He is blind to the dead, to the burning villages, to the starving children, as is the rebel. 2 blind armies able to see nothing but one another.
The Black Company is one of the great miracles of modern fantasy. Cook is not an author who contemplates his effect on the genre, nor does he set out to upend tropes and help define a new subgenre. Instead, he's a man with hundreds of stories in his head, a prolific writer who has published books before the Black Company and published even more since. It just so happens that the Black Company was a lightning rod that helped give life to something more. So why should you read The Black Company? Short answer, because it's awesome. Long answer, because Glen Cook crafts an elegant, gritty tale that's got depth in its world, in its characters, and he can do it in under 300 pages. Thank you for watching. Until next time.